What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to Grim. Let me ask you guys something real quick. Have you ever dreamt of receiving an insane amount of money and thought of all the wild things that you would do with it? Well, that's a pretty wild dream, right? Well, these people we're meeting today actually received $1 million from a massive settlement in court, and well, they absolutely blew through all of the money within months. Keep watching until the end of this one to see how bad of a storm this caused, because these two are not having a good time in life after realizing they lost that insane amount of money just so quickly.
How was your relationship before the money?
It's always been kind of rocky. We just yell and scream and curse in front of our two littlest ones.
So that's good. They're already not very happy together, nor did they have a good marriage before the money, so you toss in this insane amount of money into the mix, and you have yourself a really, really bad time. I'm not sure what they spent all the money on yet. We're gonna get into it a little bit later, but I'm pretty sure it's all just spent on the absolute most stupid things you could think of, you know, just things that they don't need, and they could have saved this money easily for, I don't know, for the future or their kids, but they chose not to.
We were constantly being evicted out of homes that we lived in, and we were able to purchase a house, and so it alleviated that stress.
Well, sheesh, after getting evicted in multiple places, you know, just being able to buy a house outright, that would be a pretty good reliever of stress, I'd think, like he was saying. I'm glad they at least hopefully spent a good chunk on a house, because otherwise they're spending this money so poorly. Like, that would be the first thing I purchase with that money is a house, not jet skis and designer clothing. Even though that would be fun to, you know, have all that stuff, you gotta have the serious stuff settled down first.
He says you're a gold digger.
Yeah, I don't get that. He had nothing when I met him.
Well, that's a pretty direct response to that question. So this dude is wrong, though. I mean, you can't really be calling your wife a gold digger when you have absolutely nothing to your name to begin with, man. Like, when she met you, you didn't have a penny to your name. That just doesn't make any sense to me that you could even think that she's like that. Maybe she could, like, see the future and knew that you were gonna get this big settlement one day, but I mean, I highly doubt that. Come on. I think he's just salty that they both blew all of this money so quickly.
He claims he doesn't trust his wife because she blew all of the money. That's what he says, all of the money, and now he's done.
If this were true, which I highly doubt, yes, he would be very within reason to just be absolutely furious with her. But I'm guessing here in a bit, they're gonna break down what exactly all this money was spent on, and you're gonna see that he is just as responsible, if not more, for losing this money as she is. I bet they both went super overboard with it, and now they're just angry and salty and annoyed, thinking of how much better they could have spent all that money when they're actually the only reason that it's gone so quickly. Instead of saving it, they just wanted to spend. Dude probably bought like 10 cars or something with this.
You guys had money management problems before you got this money. So you got this money not knowing how to manage money. And you got this money and you used the skills you didn't have, and you mismanaged it.
Oh, well, I wasn't expecting people that have been evicted from multiple homes in the past to have money managing problems. That's crazy. Who would have thought that? I thought personally that that was a sign of people who really know how to prioritize their money. I mean, I'm broke most of the time, but I've never been evicted from places I've lived at. So I'm really wondering what else they could be spending all their cash on that has gotten them kicked out of just so many living spaces. Bro, I also want to know just how quickly they spent this $1 million. I don't know if they go into that, but did it even last a year? Like, I doubt it even went longer than a few months, honestly, because once they got that money, I know for sure that they just started going ham on their bank accounts and bought literally everything they wanted in their wildest dreams just right away.
You spent $530,000 of that on your attorney's percentage and on medical.
Wow, dude, that attorney got a big payday. Jeez, man, imagine getting $353K for one case, and he's probably doing like multiple cases a year, if not like, you know, a couple a month. Oh, I can't even imagine that amount of money. So it looks like they didn't actually technically blow through $1 million in total, as about, you know, as you can see here, about half of that got taken away right away. And I mean, that's for the medical expenses that they had. And I'm guessing he got injured from something and they got paid off because of that, maybe. But also a huge chunk of that change went to the attorney once again. So even though they are morons, they didn't exactly go as hard as I thought they were gonna go. Either way, let's see what they spent the rest of this $500,000 on. You
said she ran through all of your money. I broke it all down. We did an accounting. You spent $434,300. She spent $66,000.
Yikes, and right here, this moron is just fully exposed and caught red-handed. Yeah, your total gold-digging wife has spent a whopping $66,000 out of your $1 million settlement. I can see why he's bad. I mean, who spends 5% of your money like that? They're definitely just super greedy. I mean, how could she? You only spent over $400,000 plus, so, I mean, that isn't even fair at this point. I can see why this guy's the victim here. Okay, for all you people out there who did not catch my sarcasm there, this dude is an absolute moron for even claiming that his wife is a gold digger when she spent so much less than him. I mean, come on, you are delusional if you actually think that's a factual statement when you call her that.
The truth is, you didn't get $1 million settlement, and she didn't blow through it. You got about 600 grand. You spent 434,000 of it. She spent 66. That's the reality. I did the math.
There you go. Yep, wake him up, Dr. Phil. This dude is legit just living in a dream world out here, bruh. He has this image in his head where he was handed $1 million and then his evil wife went behind his back and stole all of it. When in reality, half of it was taken away immediately for fees, and the other half was pretty much entirely him spending stupid money. So I really don't get what he's crying about. He is not the victim here. If anything, it's his wife for him calling her names and saying that she's super greedy when she spent, I mean, still she spent a lot of money, but nowhere near what he spent. This dude's like that one teammate you get in FPS games that just obviously sucks and keeps messing up, but then he blames everyone else on the team or lag for the reason that he keeps getting taken out. Like, dude, you just suck as a person. Come to terms with that and you'll maybe get better, but until then, you're just living in la la land.
Well, I'm an idiot. I guess it sounds better when you're screaming that it's $1 million.
Hey, at least he's self-aware, right, guys? I mean, what if the show ended there? Like, he says, well, I'm an idiot, and then it cuts to the end credits. That's how they should have done this, honestly. But, I mean, it's not often that someone on this show actually admits to their own stupidity. In fact, I don't know if I've ever seen that before on Dr. Phil, so I do have to give him credit for that one. But still, dude, you're seriously such a moron and should probably publicly apologize to your wife for being so mean to her when, you know, you just got exposed for lying right after.
You got your off-road vehicle and you punched up your truck and you got your family RV and you got a lot of toys.
Of course he went out and just bought stupid stuff like this. Like I was saying, $15,000 worth of truck improvements, really, man? What is that, like a bunch of light bars and a lift kit? Dude, you didn't think at all about this. There was no thought in your brain about saving this money for a rainy day. Like, so many people would love to be given that much money as a settlement, and you just threw it all right away without even thinking about it. I have no remorse for going in on this dude so much because it's like embarrassing to see him act this way on TV and then be proven wrong in just about every capacity right afterwards. Like, at least be honest and upfront with yourself about where this money went, dude. Hey, you guys made it pretty far into this video, so before we continue, I'm going to ask you to like the video, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. And if you can do all of that in the next 5 seconds, I'm going to reward you with your personal own pot of gold. You're gonna have to fight this leprechaun that I stole it from. But if you can defeat that little punk, hey, you got some free gold, so good for you. Now on to the rest of the video.
You apparently got $66,000 worth of teeth, breast augmentation, and flip-flops. According to him, that's a lot of flip-flops, but...
She probably heard that Bad Baby song and was like, you know what? After I drop 10 G's on some new teeth like Tekashi 6ix9ine, I'm gonna get some Gucci flip-flops. Oh, and some Louis V ones too. I mean, on this front, I kind of feel bad for her because I'll be honest, I would 100% buy some crazy shoes if I had that money just fall right into my lap. But you know, I would be sensible with it, like 1 or 2 pairs max, but then it's done. I wouldn't go through 60 grand just like that. For that amount of money, I'd rather just buy a reliable, good, new car probably.
That's not a material amount of this settlement. So if you're a gold digger, you're not a very good one.
Exactly. I agree.
Well, he's right about that. If she is what her husband claims, you'd expect her to be sneaking around, you know, and going behind his back, spending all of his money. But as we can see here, that just is not the case. What I think happened is she got a little chunk of it and, you know, spent hers. And then when he blew through his massive chunk of money, he turned around on her and started blaming her for the reason that the money was gone, even though it was like 90% his fault.
I guess I'm just bent that the money's gone and it didn't go to better places.
Yeah.
Hey, wow. He admitted it, you guys. It's a miracle. This dude is self-aware enough to realize that the only reason he's claiming all this stuff about his wife stealing his money and being a gold digger is because deep down he's salty that he didn't spend the money wiser. And I mean, that's natural to feel that way, honestly, especially when you look back on it and you get depressed every time you think about how much you had at one time and you look around thinking of all the stuff you bought, thinking, was this worth it? I mean, I go through the same exact thought process every time I sit in front of my $30 worth of Uber Eats thinking, did I really have to blow this much money on this trash food? But you know what? Humans are dumb creatures sometimes, so what are you gonna do, am I right? But anyways, that's about gonna do it for today's video. Let me know what you thought of these two down in the comments below, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, peace out.